Hi guys, it's Heidi. I'm going to do a really short training for you, and we're going to do several of these trainings that are going to take you through those manuals. We trained on the manual at the leader training that some of you were able to come to, and then others of you, I've been handing out the manuals and asking you to read it and following up with that, see if you have any questions. We also want to have some really fast trainings that take us through the manual as the year goes through. This manual not only gives you your expectations for a small group leader in the block, but it also has great suggestions, suggestions for how to engage kids, how to share the gospel, how to lead someone to Christ, how to deal with discipline problems, how to deal with shy kids, how to prepare better. It has great nuggets in here. So I, again, encourage you to read the manual. So today I just want to go over some of the expectations that are listed in the manual. And these are specific for our church, for Victory Family. And so some of these, as you begin the ministry as a small group leader in the block, you check these off and they are done. But several of these will also carry through as an expectation week to week to week. Okay. So number one, you'll be trained on this manual. And there's also another manual for overall kids, includes downstairs for the younger kids as well. And also being trained on using Planning Center. So when someone first comes upstairs, they will observe for 2 weeks. And during that time, I will schedule them as an observer. And during that time, they will get an idea of what Planning Center looks like. They'll get the emails, and we will train them on accepting, declining, and blocking out dates. So we will do that as they start. Number two, leaders will observe an existing block kids leader in their small group for 2 weeks before being assigned a group of their own. And so when someone steps up and says, I think I want to be a part of the block kids ministry, we will have them come up and watch or just observe for 2 weeks. The reason we do this is so that they can see if it's a fit, they can see what we do and see if that's something that they want to do. And you've probably seen a couple of new faces up there. It's been a blessing that God's brought us several volunteers in the last several weeks. And whenever we assign you a volunteer to observe your group, we just ask that you do your usual best to be yourself, but also maybe give them some hot tips on, here's where I do this, or this works for me, and just to help them understand what small group leaders do. Number three, arrive 15 minutes before your scheduled experience. This helps us so much because some kids are not picked up immediately. They stay there another 10, 15, 20 minutes. And so the leader of the previous service has to stay with those kids until the next leader comes in, because we just don't have enough people other than the leaders that are assigned to each group to watch that amount of kids. So it's important, if you can get up there 15 minutes before your experience, to relieve the previous worker. Also, it's important because a lot of leaders will serve and then go downstairs to their adult experience, and we don't want them to miss out on a single second of that. So arrive 15 minutes before your scheduled experience. Number four, review the lesson and or the training video that is emailed to you earlier in the week, and then come to the experience prepared. We will send out that email during the week, and oftentimes it'll even have a video of how to play the game or how to do the activity, or there are specific directions for opening small group or closing small group. And it's all in there for you, but it's simplified. And really, you just need to spend 15 to 20 minutes preparing for your time with those kids. And, being a good steward of that, as far as being a small group leader, being a good steward of preparing, using your time valuable so that when you're with them, God can really use that experience, and you're not going to be looking down. You're going to be engaging those kids. Number five, leaders will block off any dates that they will not be available on Planning Center as early as possible so that a replacement leader can be found for them. And so on Planning Center, you can actually go in there as far ahead as you know. So let's say you're going to have a family reunion in July. You're not going to be here. Go in now and block that off so that we will know ahead of time who we have and who we don't have. It helps us tremendously. Number six, leaders will identify themselves either by the Block Kids t-shirt and or the check-in sticker And then we also have the volunteer lanyards. It's very important that we identify our leaders up there for the kids to know who to ask questions and who to go to, but also we have to keep that environment safe. There's nothing more important than keeping the kids safe. And so in our safe environment, we need to know that everybody has been approved to be up there, and that will identify you as such. Number 7, and this is really important, leaders that are co-leading. So let's say you have 2 leaders in one group. We'll split the group into 2 smaller groups when the total number of kids exceeds 8. So if you have 2 leaders at 10:30 or at 10 o'clock, and you have a group that gets to be 9, we would expect you guys to split that into 5 and 4, however you want to do that. And this is based on years and years of research and just time tested of small groups with kids. When the group exceeds 8, they really don't engage as much. Shy kids will not take part. They won't contribute. It also helps you as a leader to be able to manage fewer kids, to be able to do what you do in a better way. So if you have 2 leaders, split those groups. And if you don't have 2 and your group exceeds 8, either Kara, myself, or Stacy will usually come over there and try to help you out and split that group out. And we do that not because we don't think you can handle that many kids, just because we know it's going to work better for the kids and they're going to be engaged better in a smaller unit. Number 8, leaders will reach out to experienced coordinators with questions or problems. Right now, you can reach out to me, Stacy, or Kara. We are going to be having experienced coordinators in the future. We'll have someone for 8:30 and 10 and 11:30 and 1. That's just over that experience, a volunteer that you can ask your questions and take your problems to. And number 9, leaders will use positive and appropriate forms of physical contact while avoiding anything that appears inappropriate or unsafe. And most of us would probably go, oh, that's not a problem. But it can sneak up on you. I know for myself, I've been in a large group sitting with kids, and maybe a little boy scoots over and says, can I sit on your lap? And I would have to say, let's just sit to the side of me, and you can side hug, high five, fist bumps, pat them on the back, but just always be mindful of your appropriate forms of physical contact. So 2 quick tips before we end this small training today. 2 quick tips. The first one is that we want you to be a facilitator and not a teacher, like a Sunday school teacher, and not to dominate the conversation. I want you to lob out the questions and let the kids interact and answer the questions by whatever boundary you've created. They raise their hands or you call on them. We want to keep some order, but you want them engaged in the conversation. What you don't want is for you to ask the question and then there's silence and then you answer the question and then you ask the next question and then there's silence and then you answer the question. So we want kids to engage in the process. We just really want you to facilitate their communication among each other and the ideas and the answers that they are coming up with. The second thing is the circle. Make sure that your kids are forming a circle. When kids are outside the circle, they can feel left out. And so we want to make sure that every one of our groups, our small groups, is engaged in a circle. And when kids arrive maybe 5 minutes later, we want to ask our group, okay, everybody spread out a little bit so we can let Joey come in the circle. And it's important. We've even had kids in the past that cried because they felt like they weren't a part of the group because they're outside the circle. And I know with 1st and 2nd grade boys, it can be a little crazy to get them in that circle. But always approach it from that and work hard to keep that circle going. It also helps you communicate and see every face in your group. All right, guys, we love you. We appreciate you. You guys are family, and you're doing a phenomenal job. Each and every week, you're impacting kids, and I can't tell you what a joy it is for all of us to work with you guys. So we will be doing these trainings probably maybe once a month to make it through the manual. But again, if you haven't read the manual, please do that and let me know your thoughts or if you have any questions. All right. Love you guys.